The tallest mountain in Yellowstone National Park is Eagle Peak. Most people who visit the park have never even heard of it. In fact, up until the 1930s, many geologists and park officials held that Electric Peak near Gardner was the park's highest point, not Eagle Peak. But Eagle Peak actually stands over 400 feet higher than Electric Peak. Eagle Peak sits in the remote southeast corner of the park, many miles from any road. To access the mountain, there are two main options. From inside the park, you can hike or sail all the way to the southeastern tip of Yellowstone Lake. From there, you would have to hike along the Yellowstone River and Mountain Creek up to Eagle Pass and then to the peak. The other option is to hike in from the outside of the park, from Eagle Creek Campground, to the pass and then to the peak. That's what we plan to do. How's it going in there, brother?
Just going through all the goodies.
I had been thinking about this hike for some time now, and I knew it would be a challenge, so I asked my buddy Sam to come along with me.
I'll bring the bands. And for the win. So we had quite the gentleman at the ranch this week. He thought it'd be best gifted to us once we hit our accomplishment, getting on top of Eagle Peak, the highest point in Yellowstone, and to only be the two guys in ranch history to ever have done it.
Our plan was to drive to the trailhead right after work on Saturday, hike and camp Saturday night, summit Sunday morning, and get back before dark Sunday night. After all, we were working Monday morning. In all, it would be about 33 miles in close to 24 hours, if we could do it. So we got out of work a little bit late today. It's about 5, almost 5:30. Loading her up. Oh boy. 5:30 on the dot.
Oh, dude, no fun.
30 seconds, our first obstacle. Might set us back a little bit. Alright. Time to cross. Sport mode all the way. We had spent most of the day clearing horse trails, and we got a bit of a late start. It's about a 10-mile hike to where we had heard there was dispersed camping in Eagle Creek Meadow. We were hoping to get there before dark, so we had to hurry. The trail crossed Eagle Creek several times in the first stretch. Because we were behind on time, we didn't bother to change in and out of our boots, so I just hiked in my Crocs and Sam hiked in his sandals. We're nearing the halfway point of tonight. There's a bear track right in our trail. Not a huge guy. Even though we were behind on time, it was hard to not stop and look around at the beautiful scenery. Hey, bear! As it started to get dark, we started making more noise. We had been pretty much assured by people that we would see bears up near the meadow, so we were always ready with bear spray.
Hey, bear. Get out of here, bear.
Hey, bear!
Wolf. Nice.
I don't recommend hiking at night if you can help it, especially out here. But if you do, make sure you bring bear spray and make lots of noise.
First 2 days, it was just all too muddy and chocolate water.
Oh yeah, the flood.
It rained up here.
We finally hit the meadow and found our way into a wooded section where we found a packer already camping. He was a nice guy who showed us a spot to camp nearby with a fire pit and a bear box. We were pretty exhausted and hungry, so we went to work cooking a meal and setting up camp. We knew we had an early morning, so we wanted to get to sleep as soon as we could. We are ready to have some dinner.
Call it a night.
And put up our tent. We didn't even get any footage of us eating. We just scarfed it down. We're so hungry.
Oh, man.
How are we feeling after day one?
A little beat, honestly. I think part of it was working. Had
Dude.
a pretty tough day working. Cut grass all morning and then hiking trails to clear trees and then the two-man saw.
I mean, we cleared several trails today
Yeah.
for horses, and that was not
Mormon golf course.
ideal activity for work
No.
before a 10
Because,
mile hike. We got 23 miles tomorrow.
oh yeah. Dude, it's, yeah, that's steep.
We are all set tonight. It's about 10:30.
Yep.
Definitely get some good sleep, dude.
Oh,
Beat. Wake up early and head for the
going.
peak. We got up early and left some of our gear behind as we headed for the summit. Now that we could see the meadow, it was absolutely beautiful. We wanted to explore the meadow, but we knew we had a long way to hike that day. We're only a few miles from the pass, Eagle Pass, and then we turn up to the peak.
Those photos are so nice. Dude, it's so nice. down.
I'm gonna start to climb here pretty soon. Switchbacks start right here. Eventually, the trail veered away from the stream, and we began gaining elevation as we climbed switchbacks up toward Eagle Pass. Coming up to the pass. There's the sign. We're at Eagle Pass. Oh boy. Yep.
So
There's the meadow.
that's
Right
the
down
peak
there. That's it.
Oh my gosh. The keyhole.
The trail continues through Eagle Pass down into the park, where there is a ranger station and extremely remote areas like the thoroughfare. But to get to Eagle Peak, we had to take a sharp right turn off of the trail. There wasn't really much of a trail, to be honest. We followed some cairns we saw, but mostly found our own path. There was definitely some scrambling involved. We read online that there was supposed to be a lava chute and a keyhole which you had to climb through to continue up to the peak. We found what looked like the lava chute, and we found a hole, but if it was the keyhole, it had closed up and was too small to climb through. So we're in the lava chute. I think we found the keyhole. I just don't know if we can make it. Pretty tight. We'll give it a shot. It was the hardest part of our journey because it looked like our only way up was gone.
Oh boy.
We gathered ourselves and looked around, and eventually we found a way up.
Oh boy. We are finally approaching the summit. There's the box.
Come
We
touch
made
it,
it.
brother.
We made it.
Once we got to the top of Eagle Peak, we found the ammo box with the Eagle Peak register. We signed in, and I dedicated my climb to my grandfather who was sick and struggling to survive back in my home state of Michigan.
Got the register. There's entries in here dating back
80s.
80s.
We had made it. It felt so good being on top of Eagle Peak, looking out over the world with Sam.
Cheers.
That hits the spot.
Good stuff.
Probably one of the best places you can go to take a rip of whiskey. Got the Tetons right there.
For Jason.
And for Jason.
Here we go.
That's for you, brother.
We had cell service, so I called my wife and Sam called his dad. We celebrated and took some pictures, but we couldn't stay too long. We had a long 17 miles to go to get all the way back out to the trailhead.
As much as we love it up here, we gotta start our descent.
Long way down. got back to the trailhead just after dark, and we were completely exhausted. We drove up to Pahaska Teepee and had some fettuccine alfredo, and then drove back to the ranch to get some sleep. It was one heck of an adventure, one that we won't be forgetting soon.